Live Tuesday, January 10th, 2017 from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios. This is Fantasy Dominance Now. Come dominate fantasy sports with us, and bringing you all the tools to dominate is Gibson Mayer, LLC, your certified public accountants. Give them a call, schedule an appointment, 215-369-3300. Happy Joey Porter Day, everybody. Don't get punched in the mouth like Clemson did to Bama last night. Thank you ever so much for joining us. We got the best minds in the business. We got ShopRite spokesman over here, Mikey Kleinkoff.
Hey. I don't want to be a spokesman for them. They don't pay me enough.
We got Blackwood's most eligible bachelor, Brian Daly.
That might be true.
We got Mr. FanDuel, Doug Pitchford on the mic.
What up? What up?
And I'm Rob Povey, Matt Sudi, bringing you all the fantasy dominance from the production chair. So what's up, gentlemen? You enjoy Wild Card Weekend?
I did.
For what I could watch, I did.
Yeah.
I know you did.
Of course I did. I mean, I'm happy with the win. Defense actually looked pretty good, making, nice clutch plays when Miami started getting down to the red zone. So they look pretty good. 5 sacks, I'll take that. 3 turnovers. It's a good day.
Yeah, this is truth. And, I mean, certainly a Miami Dolphins defense coming into that game pretty stout. And the Steelers just made them look like the Cleveland Browns defense.
Yeah, we had 3 touchdowns in the first, 8 or 9 minutes of the game. So I liked it. I think we should have just kept slamming it down our throat, but we didn't.
Yeah. Now, Brian, you said you're a bit bored this weekend. You didn't even want to tune in.
Nah, I kind of had a funny feeling that most of the games were going to be blowouts this weekend, and most they much were.
You know, it's funny, though. I can't speak for all of them, but, I mean, certainly they were blowouts, final score, but very entertaining games. I mean, certainly a lot of physicality, especially on Sunday, the 2 games, Pittsburgh-Miami, as Mikey alluded to, and, of course, Green Bay Giants.
Yeah, you were telling me about the Miami-Pittsburgh game on Sunday, but none of the games just really piqued my interest. Like the 2 teams that I'm gunning to watch are playing this weekend, so
yeah,
I'll definitely be tuning in this weekend.
Well, that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the divisional round and what's going to get you paid. So if you want in on the dominance, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You search a2dradio.com. If you got fantasy questions, tweet us with the hashtag AskFDN. Our show is at FDNA2D. You can hit us up individually. I'm at Robbie BLTZ, Robbie Blitz. Doug, you are at
StatMagnet85.
Mikey, you are at
Mike_Kleinkoff.
And Brian, you are at
Brian_A2D Radio.
Hey, we got a great show in store for you all. MLB Winter Activity has been heating up the stove, so we will discuss the fantasy ramifications for draft day and if the USA will finally win the World Baseball Classic. Our fantasy hockey expert advice will get your team in playoff position as we near the midway point of the NFL season. Hey, James Harden's performance Sunday put him in elite company. We'll explore other athletes who can put your FanDuel or DraftKings balance in elite company. But first, it's the divisional round in the NFL. So we asked you on Facebook and Twitter, which divisional game do you stack in FanDuel and DraftKings? Packers-Cowboys, Seahawks-Falcons, Steelers-Chiefs, Texans-Patriots. So before we go to the people, I want to turn it over to you guys. Which game you stacking in FanDuel or DraftKings?
All right, I'll go first. I think I'm stacking the Steelers and Chiefs game. To me, personally, I think it's going to be the highest scoring game. Both offenses are firing right now. So, we all say the Chiefs defense is really good, but, I'm still going with that as the highest scoring game this week.
Yeah, very well could be. Very well could be. Brian, what do you think? What are you stacking?
I think I'm going to stack Dallas and Green Bay. I mean, they're 2 really high-powered offenses. Aaron Rodgers in the passing game will be hard to stop this week. And then you got Ezekiel Elliott on the running side. I think if you can stack the Cowboys, you stack Jordy Nelson, Aaron Rodgers, Ezekiel Elliott, Dez Bryant, players like that. That's a game to stack.
You may not be able to stack Jordy, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Well, and plus you don't know with his uncertainty for the game as well.
I'm going to call it right now. Jordy Nelson, even if he suits up, does not actually play.
Yeah, I don't really think he is with that rib injury. It looked
He's 2 fractured ribs. Yeah. He's in the hospital after the game. I believe he was just released from the hospital yesterday or Monday. Yesterday is Monday. Duh. I'm a little off here. I'm still getting it together. No, I don't see him playing. I see Randall Cobb being the guy this week in a stack situation, or even Devontae Adams, one of the two. Both of whom put
they're
up
both
20
lower
plus.
value.
Yeah,
guys,
exactly. Probably putting a Des Bryant with an Aaron Rodgers and a Zeke a little bit easier in a stack situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't play FanDuel. And you see what happens when you miss football for a weekend? I had no idea Jordy Nelson hurt himself.
Yep.
Yeah, broken ribs. Landon Collins trucked him.
Yes, he did.
It would almost look like it was targeting.
It was targeting. He hit his target like a heat-seeking missile, boy. Holy shit.
He killed him.
Smack, 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 smack.
Smack, smack. Well, I'm with the masses here. I think, certainly Green Bay, Dallas is a game that you can stack. A sneaky stack for me would be Tom Brady and Julian Edelman. And a lot of people are like, what, are you crazy? I mean, Houston's secondary has been tops in the league. I believe they led up the third least points to opposing quarterbacks over the season. Tom Brady playoffs in New England. I don't think I have to say any more. I will go into a little bit of depth with Tom Brady as a daily advocate, advocating him to play him, but that could be a game that, a lot of people might stack on the sneaky and make some money.
Oh, yeah.
I could see that, but I think my stack is the sneaky.
Yeah.
I'm stacking the Seattle-Atlanta game.
Ooh.
I think that's going to be the highest scoring game of the weekend. Atlanta in season put up, I think, 38 on Seattle's defense with Earl Thomas and a healthy team. I could see Atlanta replicating that 38 points easily, especially without Earl Thomas back there ball hawking. Not to mention the fact that it seems like Seattle's gotten into more of a groove now because they're more of a second half, playoff type of team. Always playing better down the stretch and when it counts, when it's money time. And Russell Wilson's healthy now. He wasn't healthy the first go-around. He couldn't run. He couldn't move around. He was basically a sitting duck for that Atlanta defense. This time around, mobile quarterbacks give Atlanta problems. I see it 38, 38-34, 38-35, like big-time scoring game. I'm rolling with Matt Ryan, definitely Thomas Rawls in that game, possibly even Devontae Freeman and Julio Jones or Doug Baldwin in that game.
I could see that. That's not far-fetched. I don't really see that as sneaky.
I mean,
I see it as sneaky only because it's the one
Everybody's
game.
no.
Yeah, it's the one game no one really talks about because everybody's like, oh no, it's Atlanta. Atlanta, Seattle. Nah, I don't want to stack that game. There's not enough points.
Yeah.
As good as their offense has been during the regular season, Seattle's defense in the playoffs, they've been there, they've done that, they have the experience, and that's what caters to winning teams in these playoffs. Who has the more experience? A big detractant for the Dallas Cowboys, no playoff experience. You got two rookies in there. So, I mean, just to call it down the middle, that could seriously hurt them, especially going against Aaron Rodgers, been there, done that. Russell Wilson to Matt Ryan, been there, done that. So, it's going to be interesting. We'll get into predictions for the specific games towards the end of this segment, but I want to dive first into some DFS plays for the divisional round. We talked about who you're going to stack, but which teams you're going to stack, but who are you actually going to play? If you want to go get your game in shape, you go to the Scanzano Sports Center located at 5 Carnegie Plaza, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call, 856-889-3434, or look them up online, scanzanosports.com. I'll just start off, like I said, alluded to before. I'm going to advocate people actually play Tom Brady against the Texans defense that gave up the third least points on average to QBs. Looked pretty dominant versus the Derek Carrless Raiders and has Jadeveon Clowney doing his best J.J. Watt impersonation. But like I said, this is TB12, not Connor Cook. He'll move around the pocket enough to avoid the sack and dissect a tough secondary with his new toy, Michael Floyd. I think that really gives this offense another dynamic. You have Edelman over the middle. You got a deep threat. Chris Hogan is also another deep threat. And when it boils down to it, boys, crab cakes and football. That's what Tom Brady does.
Ain't that the truth, bro? It's crab cakes and football.
Hell yeah.
See, my quarterback play this week, I already mentioned him. It's Matt Ryan. I'm pouting this hard. Play Matt Ryan, week 6 in Seattle. They're going to be at home this week in Atlanta, but in Seattle in week 6, 335, 3 touchdowns.
Ooh.
Torched them. Not to mention, that was a healthy Seattle defense at the time. I think the only person out in that game was KJ Wright, and KJ Wright doesn't cover wide receivers, so. big time. And I'm
Yeah.
rolling. I'm gonna stick with that train, man. You Matt Ryan all day.
Yeah, I have my own boy going against Kansas City in Week 4. He put up some great numbers: 300 passing yards, 5 touchdowns. You know, he looked good. I mean, this game was in Pittsburgh. You know, this week we're playing them in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Tides are definitely going to change, but I don't see 5 touchdowns. I see maybe 3. You know, I could see him at least throwing for at least 275 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, but having with Kansas City having back Justin Houston, who didn't play in that game, and Tom Bahali, who also didn't play in that game in Week 4, does that concern you at all with rolling with him?
No, Ben's a future Hall of Fame quarterback. He knows what to do in these situations.
I 100% agree with that. Definitely future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I definitely see him making some magic there, and I don't see him having a problem. I mean, obviously, like we've all said before, Houston's defense has definitely grown and become a better defense since everybody's back and healthy. But Ben's 1-1 all time in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, against Kansas City. So in Kansas City.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll hope that goes to 2-1 after this weekend.
We shall see, won't we?
That's for sure.
It's going to be a hell of a battle, though. I mean, certainly the Steelers, they seem like they were clicking on all cylinders against Miami. Now you take that offense and you travel to Arrowhead Stadium, one of the toughest plays, if not the toughest play. Well, you can go say Seattle's probably the toughest play, but second to that, Arrowhead Stadium on the road in the playoffs. No easy task for the Steelers.
Not at all.
No easy task for anyone.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's going to be easy, but like I said, I think this one is probably going to be one of the most high-scoring games, in this divisional round.
Right. We got Mike Flaherty chiming in on Facebook. You got to look for the game you think will have the most offense in it, which would be the Pats-Texans, just because of the Pats alone. They're going to smoke Houston enough to do better than both teams in the other games. That's, I thought I was going bold with that, but apparently
bold.
Somebody else chiming in with that.
That's bold.
That is bold.
That's what wins you money.
True.
That is what definitely wins
Well,
you
yeah,
money.
because that's what you got to look at is own percentage.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
What other guys aren't owning, everybody's going to go for that obvious pick.
Yeah,
So-
like Pat's defense this week against Houston.
Yes, I have them written down.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's going that route this weekend. Like I don't really.
It's probably the safest pick for me.
Yeah, it probably is the safest pick, but you never know. I mean, Houston could turn around and get a couple scores on them. All of a sudden, not so good, not so much.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, it could happen, but with a lot of these teams are high-powered offenses that we're going against, and if you're looking at offensive stat-wise, I think Houston probably has, the worst offense going into a game, especially going up in Foxborough against the Patriots.
Right, but they do have probably one of the most. They probably do have one of the better backs to be in that game with in Lamar Miller.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean that's one of those that can go either way.
It could, but I'm still rolling. Patriots defense, I can tell you that. I'll pay the extra money for that.
Yeah, I probably will too. But I'm gonna trick y'all in a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Y'all gonna be really surprised with where
ready.
I go.
I'm always ready for this.
Right on. Well, touching upon the Seattle Falcons game, I mean, that's going to be a heavy matchup. Like tough defense, arguably the best offense in the NFL, if not the best offense in the NFL. That battle between Julio Jones and Richard Sherman should be one to watch. That's why we used it for the thumbnail.
It's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. But the guy to play for me, Thomas Rawls.
Yep.
Had a huge – am I right with you on that?
Oh,
Did I
yeah.
take the words out of your mouth?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, he came back on the map last week in the wild card round, 27 carries, 161 yards, 1 touchdown on the ground, and also he had 1 reception for a measly 1 yard. But
hey, that's still 0.6.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, Atlanta gave up the 8th most points on average versus running backs this season. Plus, as I said, Rawls broke out versus Lions D, who only gave up 13.8 points per game this season on the ground. So I think that is a recipe for Thomas Rawls having a huge game.
Yeah, what did he run for, like 160-something yards or something like that? He had a great game against Detroit.
Yeah, 161.
Yeah, no, and just to piggyback up off of that, I mean, Atlanta's defense, they're susceptible, period, because of how high powered their offense is. But they're not a great run defense. They're really not. 136 yards a game is what they average to giving up to opposing running backs per game. They allow they allow over a touchdown a game to opposing running backs. So, if nothing else, Thomas Rawls should easily be able to pick up 90 yards and a touchdown. And with how much he costs in daily leagues, even with the 161-yard game, he's still like the third most expensive back this weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
And that right there is the win, because he's the third most expensive. So at least you're saving some money there.
Yeah.
Especially if you can't afford Le'Veon Bell to pair with like an Antonio Brown.
No.
Raking the money, boys. Raking the money. That's what it's all
I wanna
about.
see.
Brian, you got any? Who you looking at? You were looking at me like you had something burning.
Nah.
Nah?
I'm just listening.
Taking notes for your FanDuel.
Taking notes if
I
I decide
digs.
I want to play FanDuel this week.
I digs. Well, I don't want to hog all the recommendations. I mean, you said Doug, you sign off on Thomas Rawls.
Absolutely.
Who else you playing in the running back position?
This weekend, oh man, there's a ton of different ways to go. I actually really do like Lamar Miller this week as a secondary sneaky play. I believe he's the second most expensive back, so if you're not going to go Le'Veon Bell, you can take a step down there if you're not comfortable with Thomas Rawls at even lower. But yeah, I think Lamar Miller has a solid game this week. I think that Patriots game is going to be a lot closer than people think. I don't think it's going to be a super high scoring game, but like 26-20.
Hold the predictions. We'll get to that. I digs. Well, let's see here. Running back, wide receiver, tight ends. Anybody got any other advice?
Martellus Bennett.
Martellus Bennett.
If you're not going to play Travis Kelce with the money, you play Martellus Bennett this week.
I'll do you one better. I'm going to go real sneaky.
Yeah.
I'm playing it in this FanDuel lineup that I have right in front of me. Jared Cook
Yes.
at the Cowboys.
I do like that.
Cowboys, they're horrible against the tight end. They gave up the third most points on average to tight ends with 9.4 per game this season. Jared Cook really, became what we thought he could be now that he has a quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. And last week put up 5 catches, only 48 yards, but he looked good. I could see them getting him more involved in the offense, especially if Jordy Nelson isn't going.
You hit it right on the nose there. That's exactly who I'm rolling with this weekend as well. I have a lot of guys going up against, the particularly weak Dallas pass defense.
Yeah.
If I'm going for, a wide receiver tight end duo, I'm going probably Randall Cobb or Devontae Adams and Jared Cook this week.
See, I think that, when you're talking about weak pass defenses, I think the Packers still have the weakest pass defense of all teams left in the playoffs. So if I'm pairing maybe a tight end wide receiver, like I'm looking Jason Witten, either Cole Beasley or Des Bryant.
Yes, sir.
Probably Cole Beasley because I want to save money for Antonio Brown.
No, you're right, man. I mean, albeit during that win streak, they played a little tougher, but not much tougher. And the Pack gave up 27.2 points per game to wide receivers, which was the worst in the NFL. And I think this time Des will catch the damn ball for a touchdown 3 times. That's what I'm saying.
Let's not talk about Des Bryant and 3 touchdowns in one game, please.
I'm sorry, Brian.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's actually another guy I'm rolling with as well.
I'm still a little sour.
I can see that. Also, Jeremy Maclin could be a super sneaky play this week
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
against Pittsburgh. I think
Yeah.
he could definitely have a big game. I mean, Tyreek Hill's kind of like the automatic. Like Tyreek Hill's going to do something in that game.
I'm scared.
It's just a matter
That
of
is the
what.
guy I'm most scared about in this game this week is Tyreek Hill.
Right, it's just a matter of what he does. Will he just have like a 10-yard run, or will he have like an 85-yard screen pass touchdown?
He's usually
guy?
good for 1 rush, 60 yards, and a touchdown. So, I mean, that's good enough for, 14
And
points?
then on top of his
12
special
points.
teams abilities,
Yeah.
is he going to return a kick? Is he
Listen,
gonna
I can tell you now,
I think he will.
Boswell and our punters will not be kicking towards him. I could tell you that now. They will find any way to get that ball out of the end zone or kick it out of bounds.
Look, I think that with the weather, especially with really
Yeah.
cold weather, it really affects kickers, both the field goal game and the punting game. I could see them shanking a short punt and him taking it for like a 55-yard touchdown. Like easily. Like that's the type of play like he can make in that game to turn the
Yeah,
tide
he's an explosive, elusive, versatile player, and you can basically use him in
anywhere.
yeah.
He's like he was Dexter McCluster in college. Like he was so dominant that it didn't matter where he lined up on the field, you couldn't stop him.
He was going to make the play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and McCluster was like that for a little while in the NFL, but we'll see if Tyreek Hill can last a little bit longer than
I
Dexter
think he will.
McCluster did.
Yeah, I think he's got better hands. He's a receiver, so,
He's bigger, too.
Yeah. Like that was not by much, but yeah. I mean, Dexter McCluster is still a really small dude. not a good running back either.
No, it really wasn't.
Sticking with the Chiefs they're a defense that I'm going to recommend this week, and a lot of people might say, did you watch the Pittsburgh-Miami game? Like I said before, I mean, certainly a tough place to play, Arrowhead Stadium, and they played very well at home. If you look at the home-road splits, it very much favors the Chiefs in this matchup, and they were the top-scoring defense, at least in most of the leagues that I played in this season. I think you go to the well again, and I think my prediction will sort of define that a little bit. But like I said, we're going to keep that on hold. Kicking-wise, I think, nobody's been more accurate out of the kickers remaining than Dan Bailey.
Agreed.
I think I'll have plenty of opportunities for both field goals and extra points in this game, and what could really turn out to be a shootout down in Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's absolutely going to be.
See, this is where I said I would surprise a lot of you. I completely disagree. I'm actually rolling with Dallas's defense this week.
Wow.
I don't see a shootout.
How do you feel about that, Rob?
I don't see a shootout at all.
A Niners fan taking my defense, we're doomed.
Hey, any defense is good compared to his defense, all right?
Hey, man, my defense was hot garbage, bro.
Garbage.
Oh, man.
No, I mean, that's what I love about the NFL playoffs, especially the divisional round. It never goes the way that the most talented expert will be wrong on certain things, and you could see a game that should be a shootout wind up being a 17-10 game.
Right. Well, the reason I say this too is because they did play earlier in the season. They played in Week 6.
Mm-hmm.
With Dak Prescott was in a nice groove and everything, and they beat the Packers, in Lambeau, 30-16.
Right.
They only allowed 16 points to Aaron Rodgers. Granted, again without Jordy Nelson, and Week 6 was when Jordy Nelson was really starting to get into shape.
Right.
You know what I mean? That game was without Randall Cobb. So now it's the flip side. Now you don't have Jordy Nelson because he's not playing in that game. And if he does, he's not a factor.
Right.
And now you do have Randall Cobb. Well, guess what? I see the exact same thing happening for the most part. I see a very low-scoring game. I could see Green Bay pulling out the game, very late, 19-16. But, I don't see a ton of points. That's why I like Dallas's defense. I see a couple turnovers in that game, keeping it close. And I just see a lot of punting. A lot of back and forth, just the ball just getting punted back and forth. A lot of 3-and-outs, 5-and-outs.
Some of that I agree with you with. I definitely think this game is going to be tight. This game is going to come down to a field goal.
Agreed.
Absolutely. But the way that the offensive line has been protecting Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is not the same player that he was in, Week 6 that they played Dallas? Week 5, Week 6?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's just come to life, and he's thrown, 22 touchdowns to 0 interceptions so far?
Yeah.
He might have 1 or 2 in this game, but Aaron Rodgers is back to being Aaron Rodgers. And he's going to pick up. I think he's going to pick apart that defense a little bit.
I don't know, man. I like the no-name defense. I really do. For whatever reason, they bend, but they don't break. So yeah, maybe Aaron Rodgers will hit off a couple of deep balls to put him in field goal range, but that's it. You're in field goal range, and that's all you're going to get. Because at the end of the day, the Dallas' defense is able to, lock it down and keep you out of the end zone. And, let's be real, Green Bay's defense, isn't stopping a cold. So if you get Dallas' offense rolling, that game's over.
Yeah.
We got on YouTube, Mundo Nioli, please pardon me if I butchered that name, asks us, what do you guys think about Spencer Ware coming back from injury against Pittsburgh Steelers?
I mean, from what I saw with the Steelers' run defense against Jay Ajayi, who ran for 204 yards against us the first time he played us, and we stopped him to 23 this week, I mean, I would take, another look at that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm never too confident on my team. I can tell you that. I don't like saying, oh, no, they're going to stop him, because if I say that, they won't.
Right.
But I was definitely nervous about Ajayi coming into the game. And we figured him out. We stopped him. I mean, I said, this is the second time we're playing Kansas City this year too. So we have a plan already set up. Of course, our linebacker coach is no longer with us, but we'll see about that. He's an idiot.
Listen, first off, if anyone had actually seen the video or knows what's going on with Joey Porter, I'm gonna defend Joey Porter a little bit. Granted, he was an idiot. He is an asshole, but. You know what? His crime was basically being being, loud, black, and indignant. That was his crime. Like, I'm sorry. That's no reason to be arrested. Like, I completely disagree with what happened to him. I think it's fucked up and wrong.
Was he inebriated, though? I mean, disorderly conduct. Whenever
he was trashed.
Yeah, so I think you bring him to sober up. I wouldn't make it like a huge court case or anything like that,
Like, I disagree with what they charged him, with what they arrested and charged him with. I think it was just wrong. Right. I think it was stupid, and it was petty, basically.
Right. Yeah, I didn't see the video, but from what I read, it was more of an aggravated assault towards an undercover cop. So
right. Bouncing back quickly to Spencer Ware. The one thing I will say is, he sat out week 17. He's well rested.
Yeah.
He should have a full tank of gas ready to go. He's 100% healthy. Now, I get it. You could be thwarted off by the way the Steelers handled Ajayi last week. But if you look at a bulk of their work over the season, I think Spencer Ware could get you 86 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. Is that worthy to play in FanDuel? I think as an RB2, I think it is.
Yes.
It could be. It could be. It depends on how much he is. I mean, I'm looking at his numbers from when they played in week 4, 13 carries, 82 yards. One catch on 5 targets for 14 yards. That's 96 all-purpose right there. More importantly, though, 6.3 yards per carry. I believe that is the most Pittsburgh allowed to a single running back all season. Even in Ajayi's 200-yard game, I don't think he averaged over 6 yards a carry.
Did he see the end zone in that game?
No, he did not.
All right, so hopefully that'll be the difference, whether he's a good player.
But they also got blown out in that game. I mean, Roethlisberger threw 5 touchdowns.
Right, so you stopped running real early.
Right, so I could see a slight spin around because I don't see them getting blown out in this game, and I could see Spencer Ware putting up some nice numbers.
Absolutely. So we're going to go back to the Facebook. We got Vince Torano chiming in with his picks for the NFL Divisional Weekend. He's got KC over Pitt. He's got New England over Houston. He's got Atlanta over Seattle and Green Bay over Dallas. Dallas is running into a hot Aaron Rodgers, which isn't good for anyone. Not being a hater, but Green Bay is the hot team right now. You got a good point, Vince, and it certainly could work out this way. Let's see what our picks are. Brian, let's start off with you, man. Who are your picks for this weekend?
All right, starting with Dallas and Green Bay. You got 2 high-powered offenses going up against each other. Dallas has a better running game, so they get the edge there. I mean, both rushing defenses I feel like are decent. Give the edge to Dallas there. This game is a complete toss-up. But I got Green Bay winning this one by a field goal.
Final score?
Say 24-21.
24-21. Next matchup, Seahawks. Or you want to do each game around?
Yeah, we could do each game
let's
around.
do
I like that.
Go for it,
Listen,
Mikey.
he said it all. Dallas has a better running game, but Aaron Rodgers is too hot right now, man. And, I know this game's down in Dallas, but I think Rodgers is going to pull it out. Another close game. I think it'd be like a 6-point game. I'm going to say like 27-21. Green Bay.
Yeah, I agree with you both. This is going to be a good game, close game. I do agree also that, Dallas has a huge edge in the running back department with Zeke. And, of course, Green Bay has the edge with Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback play. But I don't see a lot of points in this game. I really don't. 19-16 is what I said before. 19-16 is what I'm sticking with.
Nope.
I don't see a lot of points in this game. More importantly, and I can't even believe I'm about to say this because it kind of contradicts something we talked about earlier, like over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Dallas 19-16.
Taking Dallas 19-16.
Taking Dallas 19-16.
I like your style. That means, well, it doesn't mean it means that you're taking Dallas 19-16 is what it means.
Yeah.
I'm going homerish. I'm taking the Cowboys, and I think this will be a shootout down in Dallas. Prime weather. You don't have to worry about weather being a factor. Even if it's cold down in Dallas, they can shut the roof. 33-28. Barn burner. Dallas Cowboys win that game. Moving on to Seahawks at Falcons. Brian, who you got?
Again, 2 high-powered offenses. 2 fairly strong running games, too, going. So, no one's got the real edge here. This game is going to come down to who shuts down the passing game, so it's going to come down to defense. So, I mean, as a final score, I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be yet, but I have Atlanta winning. I think not having Earl Thomas in the secondary is really going to hurt him. It's going to open up Julio Jones just a little bit more.
Yeah, their offense is way too high-powered. They're playing down in the Georgia Dome.
Yeah.
They're pumping that noise in. So
yes, they are.
I'm going Atlanta as well. I'm going 35-21 Atlanta.
35-21 Douglas.
I like that score, but it's a little too low for me. I'm going 37-31 Atlanta. Highest scoring game of the weekend, as I said earlier.
Seahawks putting up 31. Yeah,
Seahawks putting up 30.
Listen,
Yeah,
Madden
Seahawks.
has them putting up 52.
What?
So,
Yes, Madden. Yes, I saw that.
52. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
they have Seattle blowing out Atlanta.
Yeah, 37-31 is what I'm going with for Atlanta. I just see it. I don't see Seattle being able to keep up with the scoring. More importantly, I see Seattle with the lead late and Matt Ryan taking them right down the field for the win, basically.
Yeah.
Leaving probably about 40 seconds, maybe a little over a minute for Russell Wilson to try and pull it back. And, of course, he turns it over and the game's over.
Well,
That's exactly what I see. Like a strip sack from Vic Beasley.
What's
actually.
scary is that, Seattle does have that powered offense that they can, if they have that 40 seconds to spare, drive down that field and upset Atlanta.
They do.
Right? That's what my theory is. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that because I'm going actually with the Seahawks. This is my upset of the week, and I'm having the Seahawks beat the Falcons at home 23-17. It's just the playoff experience. That's where I'm based on. And I know they're going to be hurt without Bennett, without Thomas, but they have enough pieces on this defense to give Matt Ryan fits. He can't really throw a deep ball to Julio if he's laying on his ass. So if they get after the quarterback, this could be very plausible. But this is my bold pick. You know what I mean? Like I also in another projection league, I have Falcons going all the way to the Super Bowl. So it could go either way.
I've actually put money on Atlanta making the Super Bowl. So that's you know what I mean. I'm very confident in Atlanta running the table and getting there.
Right.
I actually am very confident in Atlanta running the table and winning.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got
Their
all
offenses,
kinds of weapons. If
yeah.
you shut down Julio, there's what's his name, Troy Gabriel, wherever his name
Taylor
is.
Gabriel.
Taylor Gabriel.
Sanu,
And then
Alfred Robinson,
Devonta Freeman,
Tevin
Coleman. When
a
he's
lot
healthy.
of different weapons,
A lot of weapons. More importantly, too, we didn't even talk about the best. We didn't even talk about the number one pass rusher in the NFL, also on the Atlanta Falcons, Vic Beasley.
Right?
15 and a half sacks,
That's
led
true.
all of the NFL.
Well, we're up against it, boys. So let's turn it over to the AFC side. Start with you, Brian. Who's winning? Steelers, Chiefs.
Again, another situation of two strong offenses with the better running game. I think this could be another toss-up. I have Kansas City win this one 27-21.
27-21. I dig it. Mikey does.
You know where I'm already heading.
Yeah.
You know,
What's your score?
Homer.
I'm going 34-31.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is going to be, to me personally, I think this is going to be one of the highest scoring games this weekend.
Right.
And it's going to come down to that late field goal, and I think my man Bozzy could do it. 34-31. It's going to be a close game. I know the spread's only saying -1.5 for Kansas City right now, but I don't know, man. I can't not go against my boys.
Listen, as the great Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend. Kansas City is at home. They don't lose at home. I believe they've won their last I think they've won 14 of their last 15 home games, dating back to last year, and including playoffs. I like the Chiefs, 30-21.
Okay.
Comeback, not to mention. I believe they'll
just
be
like
down.
we were going to
They're
get
down
smack
21.
against Miami.
Smack.
That happened too. Right?
Hey, I didn't. Wait a minute. I didn't say they. Oh yeah, I kind of did.
Yeah,
actually.
you did.
Yeah, because I thought Jay Ajayi was going to smack him.
Well, I'll be brief here. I'm going Chiefs 17-10. Andy Reid after a bye. That's my reasoning. Texans at Patriots.
That's another good reason.
Brian Daly. Who wins?
Despite the good passing defense, Brady's going to be a lot to handle. He's another situation where he has a lot of weapons. Houston, I give the edge to the running game, although Patriots still have LeGarrette Blount. It's going to be an easy win for the Pats, I think. They win 28-7.
Dig it. Mike Kleinkoff, who you got?
I'm going Pats here real easy. I mean, Tom Brady at home. I'm going 24-14.
I think everyone's completely disrespecting Houston. It's not like they're a complete sham of a team. I mean, they do have one of the best defenses all of football. Granted, their offense is hot garbage. Like, I take shits that can put up more points. But that being said, everyone's right. This is going to be an easy win for the Pats, but it's going to be a lot closer than people think till the end. I think Patriots win 24-9.
Nice. I'm sort of along the same train, Doug. I got the Patriots. I have them winning 27-13. Currently, the line that I saw out of Vegas was Texans getting 16 points. So I'd take Texans with the points, absolutely, since I like their D to keep it closer, just like you said, than you think, as Brady does just enough to save some in the tank for the AFC championship game. He's been there, done that. He knows the drill. You know who else has been there and done that, and that's the BMW of Atlantic City dealership. They challenge its sales team, so they must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save. Right now, lease a certified pre-owned elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City, easy to get to. Minutes off exit 37 on the Garden State Parkway. Check them out online, BMWAtlanticCity.com. On the other side, we're talking fantasy basketball, fantasy hockey, a little bit of MLB Winter Activity. This is Fantasy Dominance Now.
Yay.
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real talk, A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
You're listening to Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com.
Testify to the fantasy gods as I get thumbs down from one Brian Daly. Welcome back, Fantasy Dominance Now, A2DRadio.com. Brian Daly, Mike Kleinkoff, Doug Pitchford, Rob Pobia, Matt Studio on the ones and twos. If you want in on the dominance, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You search A2DRadio.com. If you got specific questions, tweet at us with the hashtag AskFDN. If we get the questions live on the show, we'll get your answers right away, as you saw in the first segment when we talked about NFL divisional round picks and predictions. If you're, waiting on that FanDuel lineup towards the weekend, still tweet us anyway. We'll get you the answers to win lots of money in FanDuel and DraftKings or whatever platform you use this weekend. Hey, if you're advocate in both, but you're off the fantasy football train and you're leaning towards fantasy basketball and you're in leagues, we got your back too. We're not a one-stop shop like most fantasy shows. We talk all things fantasy sports. So just to lead it off with basketball, Sunday night, unless you're sitting underneath a rock, you heard about James Harden putting up a 40-point triple-double. It's multiple 40-point triple-doubles in this season. He becomes one of only 3 to do so, one of them being Michael Jordan and the other one Russell Westbrook.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Wow.
Very good.
Check
nice.
it. I'm studying
You
basketball,
got it, man.
boys.
You got it. Love it. I'm loving it, man. We're gonna make this a better show.
Yeah,
here.
we are going to make this a better show. Yeah,
Yes.
buddy.
So I'm getting on the train, but I am going to lean on the experts here, Doug Pitchford, Mike Kleinkoff. What's going on in the NBA? What's going on in the fantasy basketball world?
Man, there's a lot of stuff going on in the NBA,
You
man.
ain't lying, bro.
And talking about James Harden, since he's our main guy tonight, he's just been tremendous. Overall, he's leading the team to, as of right now, is a playoff team. And, they're doing all this without Clint Capella as well.
Yes, they
which
are.
is,
Huge.
big for them.
Well, Montez Harrell, he's literally picked right. He's kind of slid
great
right
too.
in and just picked right up where he left off. Granted, he'd given up about a half a foot, but
Yeah. Capella's nasty. I like him.
yeah, but you know what? Montrezl Harrell is as tall as he is wide, though. Like
Yeah.
that man could not fit through a door. Like he's one of those people. He has to walk in sideways.
But yeah, man. It's starting to heat up a little bit, man. You got Boogie getting his 11th technical foul.
Yup.
In
And you have
the Golden
Westbrook.
State game.
Yeah, Westbrook picking up his, I believe, his 13th already.
Yeah. I think
Technical earlier in the week.
he's right
Or last
behind
week?
him.
Yeah, it's bad.
But other than that, got a lot of fantasy news this week. A lot of injuries, actually, big name injuries as well.
yeah, here you wanna start reeling that off.
Yeah, I'll
chime in a little bit.
I'm gonna start off with our injuries here. Nicholas Batum. He's listed as doubtful versus Houston tonight. He's been Charlotte's best player by far, to me anyway. Fantasy-wise for sure. He's been picking up. Definitely for daily. I've had him a lot. And he's been getting like 40, 50 points a night.
Yeah, he's been
which
very
is
good.
awesome.
He's been a very good DFS play.
Yeah.
All season long. As has James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis. Like all 3 of those guys have been having unbelievable years.
Yeah. So he's one of the guys, especially against Houston's defense too. That's a guy that you would want to play tonight as well.
I know.
But yeah, he's listed as doubtful. I forgot to write down his injury, but I think it was like a foot or something like that.
Yeah, it's a foot injury he's been dealing with. Jeremy Lin has been out for a while. He came back for like 3 games and is back out again. That hamstring's just not healthy, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's been doing in terms of like his strength and conditioning, but whatever it is, he needs to stop and go hire a new guy.
Yeah.
Because the guy he's got sucks. Get rid of whoever you have from Shanghai's embassy training your ass and go get like a real guy. Just saying. I know that was racist as shit. I apologize to any of the Asian viewers out there. That was a little foul. I heard it as I said it. And I'm like, nah, that's not right. But
Can't be any more racist than Doctor Strange, right?
yeah, exactly. You can't be any more racist than Doctor Strange whitewashing an Asian character. One of the best characters in the story. Super comic book nerd over here. If you guys follow me on Twitter, it says that. You'll know that. You've also seen a lot of the Comic-Con pictures I post when I go. So, yeah, coming from the comic book nerd, not happy that they whitewashed that character. Real pissed off. But anyway, another big injury. Charlotte Hornets forward Nicholas Batum. He's been out with
Batum, whatever his last name is.
Yes, it is Batum.
Batum.
It is Batum.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before.
Yeah, I was like, who's Batum? I'm like,
Batum,
I was kind of like
Batum.
thinking like, oh, all right, you knew somebody I didn't know. Yeah, it's Nicholas Batum. Dwayne Wade also day to day. He's just dealing with just general knee soreness and whatnot. Basically, he's old and his knees are shot.
Yeah, we've seen that from recent years.
Exactly. Jimmy Butler's got the flu, so he's day to day. So just be mindful. He might have a couple subpar games till he gets healthy. Austin Rivers, who's been absolutely on fire for the Clippers since Blake Griffin has been out with his knee surgery, and since Chris Paul was out with a hamstring strain. He's even with Chris Paul now back, he's still been on fire. He actually missed a game earlier this week with the flu as well. So just be mindful day to day with him with the flu. definitely don't over-expect it, especially in DFS first game back. Don't expect him to get back on that like 42 points per game he's been on.
Yeah. But going back to Jimmy Butler, last night he did end up playing. He played 29 points, but only had 1 point. And definitely cleared of this illness that he's had, and he's already been ruled out for tonight's game against Washington.
Yeah. Just to be clear, too, Kyrie Irving was dealing with hamstring soreness. He missed a game last week. Obviously, he played the other night, put up 32 and four dimes, 3 boards in 36 minutes. So he should be okay moving forward, but he's still a guy to keep an eye on just in case he gets sat here and there just to rest.
Yeah.
Rest his injuries.
Yeah, Zach LaVine left Monday's night game with a hip contusion. I haven't heard any more news on him, but future games I'm sure he'll be questionable for. He might miss the next game, just resting that hip a little bit. He's been a nice impact player there, so that's definitely a big loss for them.
Yeah, big loss for the Miami Heat, too. Josh Richardson just starting to get back in the swing of things, so to speak. Backed out with the foot injury again. That foot injury is what kept him out from the start of the season. Came back, I think he played like 15 games or something like that, 12 games. But now he's back out with that same foot injury. This could linger all season long. More importantly, this could be like one of those potentially season-ending injuries for him. So definitely keep an eye on that moving forward.
For sure. You got any more injuries there?
I mean, you got Rashawn Whiteside, who's coming back off a serious eye injury. He got poked in the eye real bad, apparently. So just keep an eye on that if he misses additional time. I know he came back I think it was Sunday's game. He came back to play, but just keep an eye on that just in case. Also, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's dealing also with the flu. So just be mindful. Like he might be a little under the weather still for the next couple of days, or just recovering still over the next couple of games when he plays. So just be mindful in DFS.
Yeah. Hey, MJ did it. We saw what he did.
Yeah, but you know what? That's because MJ is a fucking alien.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Like I'm 100% convinced Michael Jordan's an alien.
I don't have the flu. Don't worry about that.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, you better not have the flu. Like somebody getting kicked in the chin, bro. Yeah, you're too close to me. Real quick, too, Anthony Davis been dealing with some hip soreness. He's optimistic to be able to play Thursday in Brooklyn. But, again, it's something to watch. He bruised his hip in Monday's game against the Knicks, the 110-96 win. He's got a couple days off till Thursday, so hopefully he'll be able to play. I'd be a little leery about playing him in DFS, though, coming off that injury.
He definitely took a hard foul. I thought it was more towards his back. They were saying at first from, what's his name, Kyle O'Quinn. He pushed him as he was driving towards the lane. He went probably 5 rows into the stands there, and, he's shaking up after that. So,
Damn.
Yeah. Both Carmelo and O'Quinn were both ejected from the game last night. So,
yep.
And Derrick Rose was nowhere to be seen as well.
Well, Derrick Rose actually, and this is funny. No, I was actually going to get into this too. Derrick Rose did not show up for the game last night.
Yeah.
He just didn't go. Didn't show up. Just didn't go.
I like that, what that kid made the GoFundMe.
Yeah, he made a GoFundMe.
Yeah, that was awesome.
For Derrick, that was hysterical. After attending morning shoot-around, Rose is a late, unexpected scratch. He failed to reach. They failed to reach him in the hours leading up to tip-off, and he just didn't show up in the building at all. He apparently left without team permission to deal with a family situation. So I'm assuming that one of his baby mamas had some baby mama drama. Mamas dramas. Apparently, too, he was pissed off about being benched in the fourth quarter of last Friday's game for undrafted rookie Ron Baker. By the way, I like Ron Baker a lot. He's a very good player. I think the Knicks need to play him more, but that's just, me talking personally at the player. I'm not a Knicks fan. Anyway.
Could he be facing a suspension real quick?
Yes, he could, actually. The team is actually looking into all options currently, but he more than likely will be suspended by the team. For a minimum of 1 game. I would expect this to probably be a 2 or 3 game suspension for Derrick Rose. But it also depends on how the severity of what the personal issue was. Yeah, if it was just him pouting like a bitch, which is kind of what I feel like
he's had some trouble in the past with domestic violence issues, the club issue that he had too. So, right. I mean, he's been a troubled man before.
Yeah, he had the lawsuit with the woman who said that they assaulted her, which, you know what I mean, obviously it was just proven she's just a cum dumpster in court. You know what I mean? That's why she got no money, because the courts viewed her as
just like the 157 women that Tiger Woods had, right?
Yeah, basically all of them. But yeah, no, like Derrick Rose, you know what I mean, looking like he's going to be suspended. Should be suspended too, I feel, because like this is your job, bro.
You're
like
only hurting your team.
Yeah, you have one motherfucking job.
Yeah.
And that's to play a game, and you're too much of a bitch to just show up and do it. Like, come on, man. Like, I wish.
Seriously,
I
do.
want to get paid millions of dollars to play a game. Like, bro, if I could go and sit and play Call of Duty all day and get paid like millions of dollars a year to do so, you really think I wouldn't?
Dude,
Like a motherfucker wouldn't? Like, motherfucker.
I literally go to Flyers games and Phillies games, and I sit there, and the people I go with can probably vouch for me. I sit there, and I'm like, these guys have it. They have the best life. They get paid millions of dollars to play a game that you play for free as a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Well, no matter what status you are in life, there's always challenges, especially the family situation.
Agreed.
Right? I'm not defending them. You have a responsibility. Communication. Communication's key. Maybe this is why Chicago let Rose go. You know what I mean? Because it kind of boggled my mind. I'm like, okay, well, maybe you can't stay healthy, so they're giving up on him. But maybe it's more to that.
Plus,
like
they had Jimmy Butler
issue.
coming up.
Well, that was. I feel like that was more.
That was more the reason.
I think Jimmy Butler's really become a superstar, and Derrick Rose, being 32 now, is a little older. He's lost some of that explosiveness he had with the knee injuries and things like that.
32. Wow.
Yeah, it's quick, man. It came up quick, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. But going back to what you're saying about baseball and their, with the money thing, I remember. I think it was Robinson Cano's contract when he signed.
Seattle?
I think I did the math. I did a little bit of math. And I was like, man, this guy gets paid about $4,000 every at bat.
Wow.
That's sick.
Yeah.
At bat, and he's going to get 3 to 4 a game. So there's $12,000 to $16,000 just for an at bat.
Excuse me, he's 28. I said 32.
Oh.
I jumped the gun a little bit. He's 28.
Right on.
But still, 28 in basketball
But with
years
his
is like
knees, yeah, he's in his 30s.
He's got a 32-year-old body.
Yeah.
28-year-old. Yeah. In terms of ads, I had this question for you guys. Like, two guys that I'm looking at right here on my computer, Buddy Hield and Austin Rivers. Are either one of those ad-worthy?
Austin Rivers, absolutely.
Yeah.
As I said before, he's picking up a lot of the scoring slack left by Blake Griffin, who's out with that knee surgery. He's been beasting, bro. He's been averaging over 30 minutes a game for like the last 12, 13 games, averaging almost 20 points a game over that span as well. I believe he's had 6 or 7 20-point games over that stretch as well, 20-plus point games. So he's been just putting in.
Yeah.
He's just been putting in work.
And going with Buddy Hield, I mean, he's great. I know in me and Doug's league, we have a 3-point category, and that's where Buddy Hield's specialty is. So I mean, if you're lacking in 3-point performance for that category, I say go out and get Buddy Hield. I mean, he's getting close to 20 points a night. I know in our league he is taken, but he's just one of those guys that he's starting to light it up.
Yeah, he's starting to do what he did in college. In college, he was a lights out shooter. Since he got into the NBA, not so much, but he's starting to get back to the swing of things.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I just noticed with Rivers. I mean, since Christmas, it says here he's averaged 17.9 points, 3.3 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 1.9 in threes. Or what is that? I never forget about that. That's a meaningless stat. So basically, he's pretty much on fire. Buddy Hield, you get him for the 3-point shot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all. That's really all he's good for is that and field goal percentage and free throw percentage because he's a good shooter overall. If you're looking for guys who are a little bit more all-around per se and not just like maybe for the 3-point shooting and the field goals percentages, both, field goal and free throw, but maybe you're looking for more scoring and more other stats, I'm leaning Bogan Bogdanovic
my man.
from Brooklyn.
My man.
Yeah.
Bodan.
Only earned in 46% of ESPN leagues. This season, he's averaging 14 points, 2 threes made a game, shooting 44% from the field, 86% from the charity stripe. More importantly, 3 rebounds, 2 assists a game.
Yeah, he was hot. Who were they playing before? I forget what game it was, but he started off like the first half or something. He had dropped like 15 points in the first half, and for a guy that mostly comes off the bench.
Not anymore, though. He's definitely a starter now.
Yeah.
He's definitely a starter now. He's probably going to stay a starter moving forward.
Yeah, definitely great for DFS, I could tell you that.
Absolutely great for DFS. Another great DFS play, moving forward, and probably a worthy add too, especially with the Atlanta Hawks involved in that three-way deal, sending Kyle Korver to the Cleveland Cavaliers. By the way, Kyle Korver also an add this week and moving forward. Kyle Korver, 3-point specialist, probably is going to be scoring double digits most nights for Cleveland. Will be starting at the 3 position, especially with no J.R. Smith.
Yeah. Well, that's more the reason why they got him was they're missing that 3-point shooter. Even though LeBron's been shooting them now, so.
Yeah, I mean,
he found a rhythm.
Kevin Love found his rhythm again.
Kevin Love, man, he's been hot too.
Yeah, he has. You know, I mean, Cleveland definitely made it a mission to make Love great again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna stay on this all year long, baby.
Yeah. I kind of feel bad for Kyle Korver though.
Why?
Because Atlanta didn't exactly tell him he was traded right
away.
No,
he played the game.
Yeah,
it wasn't no Wilmer. Right, your boy?
Yeah. Oh, man. He cried during the game. I felt so bad for Wilmer. I didn't want to trade Wilmer. I was happy we kept him. I'm not going to lie.
See, that's the negative implications of social media. You know what I mean? I love it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we thrive on here at ATD Radio. But you know, you get a rumor that goes out there and it circulates, and all these players are all, you know, avid. You know, they're all think about yourselves. You know, Mike. You know, huge in the social medias at this age. Athletes aren't going to be any different. They're going to want to try to toss track to each other. You know, you got Noah Syndergaard calling Bryce Harper a douche. Love it.
Yep.
Love that type of shit. But the negative implications, people will run with rumors, and then all of a sudden, shit, I just got traded. And Terry Collins is like, that's news to me. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't ever official. Obviously, it never went down. And you have that. Now you see it popping up again in the NBA.
Yeah, because I feel like Kyle Korver got jobbed. You know what I mean? Because the trade wasn't completed. It wasn't a done deal, and yet it was broken.
It was already he's there.
Yeah, he's there, and I'm like, wait, but they haven't even done the first trade to even do the trade.
Yeah, it wasn't even until like 2 or 3 days later that it was made official.
Yeah, but it was made official like the second it was like an agreed to deal. Yeah, it's absurd. I felt really bad for Kyle Korver. I think Atlanta handled that terribly. I think Atlanta's a terrible organization. That being said, though, they have one of the sweetest fucking arenas in the NBA. Yeah, I got a couple cousins in Atlanta. I've seen a lot of pictures of the arena. I haven't been there myself yet. I plan on going sometime soon. But the stadium, the new stadium they got down there is pretty sweet.
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet, and it's hyped. Like they got a live DJ for every game. So
that's what's up.
Yeah, so long breaks and stuff. You have a live guy actually spinning and scratching and stuff, like live music. It's pretty awesome.
No, I just thought it was funny because Kyle Korver's sitting down there. They're showing him taking warm-ups and stuff like that, and nobody ever told him that he was traded.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought that was
which is good though, because then you don't get him off his game.
Right.
You know, I'd be like, all right, well, I'm shitting the bed then.
Well, because of this trade, obviously we now know the Hawks really are in rebuild mode. They're looking to tear it all down. That way they have a ton of money in this coming offseason to sign a couple guys to go with Dwight Howard there. And one of the guys who's probably going to have the biggest impact next to Dwight Howard this year and moving forward is Tim Hardaway Jr.
So,
of the Atlanta Hawks. This is a guy, over his last 4 games has been averaging just under 20 points a game, hitting over 4 threes a game, shooting 60% from the field. Free throw percentage isn't helpful, about 67%.
Oof.
Yeah, terrible free throw shooter. But he is pulling down 4 boards and 2 assists a game on top of that 20 points and the 4 threes. So if you're in a categories league, he's money. More importantly, as they keep trading guys, because Paul Millsap's going to go soon. He's their best player.
Yeah, sadly.
Thabo Cephalosha is going to go soon because he's obviously their best perimeter defender, and he'll go to a contender somewhere. Some contender will take him happily. So, you know what I mean? He's going to get a lot more opportunities. He's going to get a lot more shots. I could see him, becoming almost a 25-point scorer a night moving forward.
Nice. Real quick out there for all the kids that play basketball, if you're in need of sporting goods, there's no better place than the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Give them a call, 856-939-2030. Look them up online, sportsoutletinc.com.
Listen, another ad for me is Alan Crabb for Portland. Only 28%, but last week he averaged 20 points, 3 boards, and 2 assists. Sorry, but I mean, he's been one of those guys that's been getting a lot of points there for Portland.
Yeah, he's definitely hasn't been too crabby.
Yeah, aside McCollum and Lillard there. Another guy. I mean, now that Richardson's out, you might be able to plug him here. Is Willie Reed? Only 9% for the Miami Heat. Yeah. He's been explosive lately. I mean, he was taking over the spot for Hassan Whiteside when he was out, but he was averaging 13.5 points, 11 rebounds a game. So, I mean, this is a guy that they could plug and play, and I could see him getting more minutes now.
I could definitely see that as well. Another guy who I could see getting more minutes moving forward, who's, believe it or not, owned in under 50% of leagues. I don't even know how this happened. I actually picked him up in our league last week, and that's Tony Parker.
Yeah.
Of all people, Tony Parker. Like, dude, he's like a perennial all-star. He's arguably like one of the top 50 players of all time. He's definitely has to be at least in the conversation of 50 greatest.
I'd have to see the rest of the list.
I mean, I don't know. I think 5 titles says a lot about 50 greatest players.
I mean, yeah.
But anyway, him and his 5 rings. He's averaging 19 a game, shooting 62%. Never really been a great 3-point shooter, but 6 assists a game. He's been doing what Tony Parker does, which is, he's usually around 20 points a game and about 6, 7 assists, 8 assists a game. That's Tony Parker. And not for nothing, I mean, anybody in any format could use, 20 and 6, 20 and 7, 28 out of your point guard.
Yeah.
Like, that's not really an issue.
Yeah.
Real quick, man, a guy that started off the year really hot and then fallen off. They even got benched 4 games and then started off his 2017 portion.
I love this serve.
You love it?
I love the serve.
Yusuf Nurkic?
Yes.
Did I get it right?
Yes, you did.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's
center
good.
out of Denver. He's definitely roster-worthy now
hey,
again.
Listen, I actually played him in DFS a couple nights ago, and he put up, I think, 40 points for me for daily. So, I mean, I'll take that any day. But, I mean, he's a guy who's going to get you a lot of boards. He's good for 10 and 11 a night. You know?
He is. He's very good guy. He's a good back-to-the-basket player. Obviously had a great start to the season, was benched because basically he just didn't play defense.
Right.
He gave 2 shits.
Yeah.
And, what's the coach's name there? It's Mark Malone. Is that his name for Denver now?
I couldn't tell you.
I
can't even tell you who the Nets coach is, and that's my team.
I'm pretty sure it's Mark Malone is the name of the head coach there. He basically told him and benched him, like, look, you got to play defense. I was close. It's Mike Malone. Mike Malone. Not to be confused with Carl. Because they are definitely brothers from another mother. That's for damn sure.
Okay, I lied. Nurkic only gave me 29 points, but he had 10 rebounds, 11 points, 3 steals, and a block against Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
You're a liar.
You're a liar.
Yeah, but listen, when he's only valued at $4,000 for FanDuel, 29 points is what you want.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
That's very true.
Yeah.
But yeah, more or less, like he's, you know what I mean? He's now back in the good graces because he worked hard in practice on his defense. And you could see it too. You see it flourishing. I mean, he's starting to block more shots, which is big because he's 7'1", like 300-something pounds. Like, he's not a small man, like 290 pounds, not a small human being. Like, he should be blocking 2 shots a game, pulling down 12 rebounds.
Agreed.
Yeah, like, that's just what you should do. You're that big. Stop being lazy. Speaking of, you know what I mean, not being speaking of not being lazy, TJ McConnell, bro.
Yes.
Philadelphia Sixers
Yes.
point guard, only owned in 16% of leagues, has basically unseated Sergio Rodriguez, who's now back from injury, for the starting point guard job there. He was great last year before they took the job away from him, which didn't make sense to me then, and put him back to the bench. Now I think he's just locked into the job for good. You know what I mean? He had a 17-assist game a couple nights ago.
And I played him that night.
Oh.
Like, huge game. TJ McConnell.
That's why we're the best.
TJ McConnell's a beast, bro. Like, I was on him last year. I know I preached his praises last year for you guys for DFS and for fantasy basketball. I'm doing the same thing right now. Like, kid's no joke. Kid's a baller. I like him.
My man put up 41.3 in FanDuel that night at $4,100.
Beast mode.
I'll take it.
Beast
I'll
mode.
take it.
Oh yeah. Another guy, real quick, if you're really hurting at, you know what I mean, at the center position. And this is a guy's a bit of a stretch. I'm high on him though. Dwight Powell from Dallas. Only owned in 16% of leagues. He's quiet a lot of nights because Andrew Bogut's back, Dirk Nowitzki's back, so he's not getting that surplus of minutes now with those 2 players back. But he still has worked his way into a nice rotation spot, earning 20+ minutes a night, and he's still pulling down close to 9 rebounds a game, even in 20 or less minutes a night, and averaging almost 2 blocks a game in those said minutes.
Yeah.
Project that out over 30-something minutes, you got a guy who's averaging a double-double with almost 4 blocks a game. Like, you got a guy who's pulling down about 14 rebounds, scoring about 10 points with about 4 blocks a game.
That was like Greg Monroe for the Bucks. He was coming off the bench, but coming off the bench, he was still getting about 30 minutes, but he was averaging that double-double.
Yeah.
But going with another big man, I like Marcus Morris with Detroit. Only owned in 56% of leagues last week. He averaged 15 points, 5 boards, and 4 assists. So, I mean, that's pretty solid numbers for you, man. Of course, I want my rebounds to be a little bit higher than that, but hey, man, he's a nice pick. And one more guy, if you're in a deep league and you need a center or power forward, go Amir Johnson from Boston. He's only owned at 13%. Last week he had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. I mean, pretty solid numbers, especially for a deep league. I wouldn't say like a 10 or 12 team league, but if you're in that deep dynasty league, you know, he's a guy I would go out for.
Yeah. Yeah, I also have one more guy here, another big power forward, Dantas Motiejunas. I know I preached him last year with Houston.
Monte what?
Motiejunas.
The unit?
The unit.
The big unit?
Yeah, maybe he's Randy Johnson's kid. Who knows? He is a lefty. He is 6'10" and a lefty. You never know. But he's now, property of the New Orleans Pelicans. He made his debut this past Saturday, came off the bench for 20 minutes. Did score 11 points in those 20 minutes, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. So the production's still there with this guy. All he does is put in work and put up stats. That being said, the problem with him is health. He's often injured, big man. So hopefully, with a change of scenery comes a change in luck. In terms of his health. And if that happens, he's gonna unseat Terrence Jones as the starting power forward before long and getting those 30+ minutes like he was getting in Houston. Funny enough, doing the same thing to Terrence Jones. Like, I don't get it. I guess he just follows that guy because he knows he can just take his job at any time because he's just that much better.
That's his doppelganger.
It has
ready
to
to take over.
Has to be.
Taking over.
Oh, man. But, yeah, I mean, that for the most part is my DFS plays for this week and my ad recommendations for this week. You got anything left?
I got one more guy, Sacramento King, Ty Lawson. Ty Lawson.
That's because it's basketball, bro.
Yeah, I know you're. But
no, I'm good. I'm awake. I'm listening.
21% owned. Last week he had 16 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, pretty good for a guy that hasn't been playing as much, but he's a guy that you go out for, averaging nice points. So
absolutely, no, he definitely is a good play.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
That's what I got, and I am done with my ads and DFS play there.
Thank you, gentlemen. Educating us to make money, and that's what it's all about. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help you dominate in all things fantasy sports, just like the BMW of Atlantic City dealership dominates in everything they do, and they challenge its sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save right now lease a certified pre-owned elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City, easy to get to, minutes off of exit 37 on the Garden State Parkway. Check them out online, BMWAtlanticCity.com. We just got started. We got another hour to go, boys. Talking a little fantasy hockey, some ad recommendations, some injury updates, things going on in NHL. All-Star breaks coming up, too, so we'll have some news and notes there. We also got baseball winter activity and how it's going to affect your draft come springtime. You're listening to Fantasy Dominance now, only on A2DRadio.com.
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real talk, A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, And if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
You're listening to Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com. Brian Daly, Mike Kleinkoff, Doug Pitchford, yours truly, Rob Povey, and Matt Sensudi is on the ones and twos. If you want to be a part of us, be a part of the dominance, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You search A2DRadio.com. If you got specific questions, tweet at us, comment at us. Use the hashtag AskFDN. We'll get to your answers during the show or afterwards. We got one question coming in now. Beautiful tag name on YouTube, Hydro414. What about Green Bay and Cowboys? Well, we talked about this a lot in the beginning of the show. It should be a barn burner of the game. We were split down the middle. Brian and Mike picked Green Bay. Doug and myself picked Dallas. So it should be one hell of a game, and definitely a game you can stack in daily fantasy leagues.
Yep.
Agreed.
Agreed. So keep them coming. We'll get your answers. We'll get you paid come Sunday night. But beforehand, we got fantasy hockey leagues to talk about. We got daily fantasy implications for the hockey. It's Brian Daly's time to shine. I'm going to keep up with them as well. What do you want to start off with? You want to start off with ads or injury updates?
Well, let's start with ads because I only have a couple.
Okay.
I don't have many this week.
Rattle them off.
All right, so first off, I got one forward, one goalie, one defenseman this week, all of which have had stellar games. We're going to start with Patrick Maroon, who is on fire right now.
Yes, he is.
With the Edmonton Oilers. He has, 5 goals in his last 3 games, getting his first career hat trick.
I have him on my list, too, so I'll get you the stats. I mean, he's got 16 goals, 7 assists for 23 points on the season, plus 14 with 50 penalty minutes. And over the past 5, you're asking?
I believe it was over the last 3 games he has 5 goals.
Yeah, over the last 3. Yeah, he had a hat trick on January 5th at Boston. Put up 2 goals at Ottawa on January 8th. Definitely been lighting up the score sheet.
He has been. He's on a line with Connor McDavid, and I believe Leon Drysdale's on that line too. And that line has just been flat out producing this year.
And that's always good, man. If you can't get the elite of the elite in the NHL, get their off-winger. Because he will benefit from being on that line.
No, Patrick Maroon is absolutely benefiting from being on the line, and Edmonton's winning hockey games because of it. It's not just that line; it's the entire team.
Yeah. Oh yeah. None have been hotter than the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, no one on that team has been hotter than Patrick Maroon. Next, I got rookie defenseman for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Connor Brown. He's a smaller offensive defenseman. He's been on a little bit of a tear in the last 10 games. Has 5 goals, 4 assists for 9 points. Not much of a defensive player. He has 9 hits in the last 10, or 9 hits. Sorry, I wrote this down wrong. 9 hits in the last 10 and 4 block shots in the last 10 games.
There you go.
So he's more of an offensive defenseman. So if you're looking for that, Connor Brown might be the guy for you. He's definitely stash worthy. He's especially if you're in a dynasty league. If he's doing this now, he might just get better and better. And then there's Michael Neuwirth, who I'm suggesting people pick up because I think in his return, giving up 2 goals on 26 shots. I mean, that's a good way to come back.
Yeah.
Especially against a team like Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Talk about being tested right out of the gates against high-powered Tampa Bay. He came up to the test, and I think it's a great ad in fantasy because if my theory holds true, the Flyers are going to play Neuwirth a lot in hopes to maybe trade him because it looks like they're committed to signing Steve Mason to that contract extension to bridge the gap to the younger goaltenders, Anthony Stolarz, Carter Hart. We'll talk a lot more about this on the Hockey Happy Hour, 2:30 p.m., h2dradio.com. But just to be brief here, Neuwirth, I perceive getting a lot of playing time over the next month, and that bodes well for when you're trying to start a fantasy goaltender.
Well, I agree. He's going to be seeing a lot of playing time. He's going to be straight up platooning with Steve Mason.
Yeah.
Even on the season, Michael Neuwirth is 5-2 with a 3.35 goals against average, which isn't bad. I mean, he had a little bit of a rough start to the season, but if his return is have any sign of what's to come, Michael Neuwirth is going to have a strong rest of the season.
Yeah, no, agreed, man. Agreed. Sticking with the goaltenders, I'm going to work backwards here. I'm actually going to advocate people, if he's available, if people let him go grab Ryan Miller, Vancouver Canucks. He's actually been really hot over his last 3 starts, getting a win in each one of them, letting up 4 goals total in the 3 games, and that included a 44-save effort against Calgary, as well as a 22 save shutout out at home against the Arizona Coyotes.
Yep.
He's only what's that?
Yeah, I had him for daily that night. I picked Ryan Miller against Arizona, and he led my team in scoring, and that's about all I had that night.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was fantastic.
Way to pick up a shutout.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I had like 70 points that night. 35 came from him.
So Ryan Miller's value might actually go up because there are a lot of trade rumors surrounding him again this year.
Right.
Flyers being a possible destination, which wouldn't exactly make sense, but that's a predicted landing spot for Ryan Miller.
Gotcha.
Do you guys think you'll be able to beat Buffalo with Ryan Miller? Because that seems to be Philly's worst enemy is Buffalo for some reason.
Sometimes.
I mean,
sometimes. I think there's another worse enemy, and you root for them. So we'll be talking all. You want to tune in for the Hockey Happy Hour? We're going to do a whole Flyers-Penguins tribute with the alumni game coming up this weekend.
Yeah, just one quick thing. Who made the All-Star team from the Flyers?
That'd be Wayne Simmons.
What was I saying last week?
Wayne Simmons being better than Claude Giroux. That doesn't mean shit.
My man.
That don't mean shit. Come on, man.
I mean, listen, All-Star games are popularity and production contests, and Wayne Simmons is popular and productive.
And he's black.
Yep.
Which makes him even better. Because there's only about 15 of them on the ice, which is growing.
Right.
It's growing.
Which is growing.
Growing. That's because you got all them dudes in the hood now. Like, wait.
This is a cool sport.
Like, wait, I could hit people, and he give me a stick, and I can hit people with it. Like, fuck yeah,
sold. We'll get back to Ryan Miller. He's 68% owned in leagues. That's going up right now from 63% last week. So you want to jump on that if you're hurting for the goaltender position. Go grab the 36-year-old Ryan Miller. On defense, man, I saw a couple plays from this kid out of Montreal, Nathan Beaulieu. Defenseman's been absolutely red hot. If you're hurting on defense, go grab him right now. He's got 2 goals, 12 assists, 14 points for the season. A great plus-minus at 15 on the season. And in the last 3 games, just to give me an example, last 5 games, he is a +4, 1 goal, 4 assists, great in hits, block shots. He's had, 11, 12, 14 in the past 4 games. So he's really a category's darling. He can help you out on the defensive end as Brian goes scrambling, looking to see if he's available.
No, I'm getting Patrick Maroon.
Ah, nice.
Too late. No, I'm kidding.
Nice.
You
Well,
can't say too late. I just picked him up.
well, let's say you're in our league right now, and you just saw Brian Daly pick up Patrick Maroon. Another guy you can pick up. I'm on the old kick today. I'm saying go pick up Justin Williams.
Not a
Caps.
bad option though. He's still a productive player. He's give me a second to bring his stats up real quick.
I got it.
I know he had 4 or 5 shots last night, so that's great for shot category.
11 goals, 10 assists for 21 points on the season. He's a +4. So
Yep.
he's still productive at his age.
He's a streaky goal scorer. Always been, even when he was younger. And right now you're looking at it where he's had 3 goals in the past 6 games, countless assists, actually 5 assists I can count, and a great plus-minus rating as the Caps start heating up. And, he's only owned in 56% of leagues, so chances are he will be available in your league if you need help at the winger position. The last ad recommendation I have, Michael Backlund, center, Calgary.
I love
Flames.
him. I love him.
He's having a stellar year. He's not much of a goal scorer, but he's been one hell of a playmaker
But
this year.
the thing that's great about him is he's on their power play.
Right.
And that's awesome. That's where you're going to get a lot of his points from, is from power play points.
Right, absolutely. I mean, he had 4 minutes alone in a game against Vancouver on January 6th. He's had 6 goals. I'm sorry. Oh, let me back this up a little bit. 9 goals in the last 8 games. So, that's a goal per. I mean, for a guy that isn't, you're right, Brian, he typically, he's a playmaker. He sets up others. He's a classic center, right? Which he's been doing great there. 15 assists on the season. Also, his total 12 goals on the season,
he's
too.
Great.
May be coming into his own at 27 years of age, roughly owned in 69% of leagues. So he's definitely a guy that, you can grab, especially if you're in a 14, 16-team league as we are in our Dynasty League. You need help in the center position. You need a guy that can win you some face-offs. Because even though we changed it to be 1 point for every 4 face-off wins, they're still powerful, those face-off wins in our league. And if it's true in your league as well, you might want to go out and grab them.
Yeah, a guy I'm advocating here is Nazem Kadri. In ESPN leagues, he's owned Nazem Kadri.
Nazem Kadri.
Yeah,
Is he Czech?
No.
I don't know what he is.
I think he's American.
He's 64% owned, but the thing that I like about him, he's got 16 goals. 8 of them were from the power play this season. So he's a guy that's, he has 11 power play points this year. He's got 122 shots. He's hitting people with 52 hits. So he's getting stats in almost every category. It's a guy I would go out for if he's available. I know he's not in our league, but, other ESPN, Yahoo, Fantrax, whatever.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Like, I go through all this stuff, and I'm looking at, fantasy stuff, and I see certain players, and I'm like, these players are actually not bad players, but it's just funny how much fantasy value certain players have and some don't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's unreal.
I'm looking at, one guy, for example, who's available in our league is Jordy Ben. Jordy Ben's a pretty damn good defenseman. But apparently he has 0 fantasy value.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Just because they're good doesn't mean they're.
No, I know.
Their fantasy.
I just think it's crazy. It's just something I was thinking about.
Yeah. Last week I picked up Brooks Orpik only because he had the best plus-minus for defensemen, and that's where I'm extremely lacking in our fantasy league right now.
Is that right?
Is defense. Everybody's hurt. I have guys on my roster that are hurt because I don't have any room.
Right.
Yeah.
It gets tough that way.
It's bad.
I got Getzlaf that's hurt, and he keeps saying he's day-to-day, so I keep him in my lineup. Like, all right, he's ready. No, he's not ready yet.
What way to abridge to the injury updates, man? I mean, he hasn't played. He's been.
I know. Doug's got a question. He's scared
up. I do have a question.
Let me just complete the Getzlaf point, and then we'll certainly move on to your question, Doug. He's been out the last 3 games now. When he said that, he's been skating Friday. He could go. Have you heard anything latest on Getzlaf?
Last I heard is he hasn't been practicing, but he skated again on Monday beforehand and practiced, and that was the last I heard.
All right, so you're going to stay tuned to Ryan Getzlaf's day-to-day position with that lower body injury. Doug?
Yeah, no, you guys are talking about ads and stuff. This is a guy who's only owned in a little over 20% of leagues. Left winger Sven Barchky?
Sven Barchie. Sven Barchie. I said something about picking him up last week.
Yeah.
He's been on a little bit of a tear with Vancouver.
Still on a tear with Vancouver.
Yeah.
Apparently.
My man Bo Horvat.
Now, real quick, too, what about Michael the Flyers goaltender. I don't know how to say his last
Michael
name.
Neuberth.
Yeah, they already-
Brian
Brian
talked
said that.
about
He
him.
wasn't
Yeah.
listening to me today.
He was sleeping like you were during the basketball segment.
Yeah.
Yep. I kind of just zoned out. I was like reading stuff, and I was like, eh.
Let me look up.
So I guess that's what that feels like.
B
Next week I won't.
Barch.
I'll get involved. Barchi.
Sven, yep, got it up there. He's put up about 110 fantasy points in our fantasy league this year. He's roughly about 42% owned. 11 goals, 12 assists, 23 points, plus minus a 5.
Sitting on my bench.
Yeah, he's had 4 goals over the past 6 games. That's exactly what I was going to say. He's a guy that if you want to build some bench depth, maybe you got an injury, one of the players we're about to cover now in your starting rotation, he can be a Band-Aid guy, a plug-and-play guy for the time being, with some upside, though. Definitely.
Oh, he's
with some
absolutely
upside.
got some upside, and he's still young, too.
Yep.
Right on.
Absolutely. Moving on with the injury report, Elias Lindholm is now on the injured reserve with an upper body injury suffered before Christmas. It has been a persistent problem, so there is no timetable for his return. He's eligible to come off the IR, but will not do so until next week at the earliest. Capping off centers that are injured, Brian Boyle is day-to-day with a lower body injury. Pardon me. It has not been deemed serious, so do not be surprised if the center is back by next week or maybe even later this week at the worst. Over the weekend, we should have over the week we should have a little more information on this. It could still go either way, but the winger had an incredible hot stretch before going down, as Brian Boyle is center and wing eligible. Speaking of wingers, Paul Byron and Brandon Gallagher are both day-to-day with upper body injuries. How often do 2 teammates on the same line end up with the same basic injury type on the same day? That's pretty rare.
That's kind of creepy, actually.
Yeah, it is. However, it's not quite that simple. Byron was hit in the head by Patrick Sharp and may or may not be placed on the injured reserve. As for Gallagher, the rumor is this is a hand injury, and he was sent back to Montreal for further evaluation. May just be a matter of time before we find out some hopefully good or grave news on these wingers.
I actually think I already heard something on this. I believe,
Chime in, baby.
if I remember correctly, it is a hand injury, and they're expecting him to be out 6 to 8 weeks, but I'll double-check on that.
6 to 8 weeks sounds about right. At least that's some sort of a timetable if you're an owner of Brandon Gallagher. On defense, we talked about this a little bit last week on Hockey Happy Hour. PK Subban will be out a few more weeks with that upper body injury. The Predators have now placed him on the injured reserve, and it's believed that this will not be a season-ending issue, which is good news, especially if you're off to a good start and you can really use PK Subban to help you out come hockey playoffs.
So he's not going through. He doesn't have to go through surgery for his back.
It's not looking that way. Obviously, surgery would end the season. You would have to expect that.
Well,
They're saying that the shoulder healed up. It turned out that there was the disc issue in his back, and they needed to differentiate whether it's become herniated.
Oh, okay. And as far as Brandon Gallagher goes, it's confirmed he's going to be out at least 8 weeks.
At least 8 weeks. So you're going to definitely need a long-term Band-Aid on that. Andy Green is day-to-day after taking a puck to the face on last week against Carolina. It resulted in an effort where New Jersey held on for dear life against Carolina. He has not taken the ice in practice since, and he missed Friday's game against Toronto. Inside sources keep saying he will be held out, but media is holding out hope for an Iron Man streak. So we'll have to see with Andy Green. And one last one I have, actually 2 on the goaltending scenario. Ben Bishop is still on the injured reserve with the lower body groin injury, but the good news is he is still on target to return in mid-January. The significance is obvious as Tampa Bay has really hit the skids defensively. Not even Andrei Vasilevsky has been able to handle it. They've allowed 11 goals in the last 2 games.
Yeah, he's been on a massive cold skid lately.
Right, absolutely. And Semyon Varlamov still nursing a tough groin injury. Missed last Friday's game against the Islanders. So they're going to be, with Colorado, you can be patient with Varlamov. I don't really see them doing much of anything this season. So I think if I'm a Varlamov owner, I think I probably would have already cut bait with him. But if you still have him, I think now would be groin injuries. Goaltenders just do not mix.
No, they don't. Any hockey player really, it doesn't.
true.
It doesn't really mix. But the on a positive note for Montreal, they should be getting Alex Galchenyuk back any day.
Good. He's sitting there on my IR just doing nothing.
Yeah, he's nearing the return. He's not quite there yet. I would assume to see him there in a couple days.
Absolutely. So that's all of our fantasy hockey advice brought to you by Liberty Event Rentals. For all your party needs, you can give them a call, 267-314-7368. Look them up online, libertyeventrentals.com. So, Brian, we got roughly about 5 minutes till we got to pay some bills. Let's talk a little All-Star game action. I know you said some rosters came out today.
All 4 came out today. The NHL rosters are now set.
Metro for the win. That's all I got to say.
Ain't nobody talking to you, Mikey.
Ooh.
I like the Metro.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, hang on. Let me bring up the rosters real quick.
Metro for the win.
All right, so the Metro Division, Pacific Division, and damn it, what is going on with my life right now?
So wait a minute. Hockey's All-Star game is now broken up into 4 teams?
Yep.
It's a 3-on-3 tournament now.
Correct.
Ooh. That actually sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, it really does, man. I mean, something that the
It
other
was.
4 major sports could really take note of.
Pac Division, reigning champs this year,
Yeah.
back to back.
Screw
All
you.
right, so the
Move to
Atlantic
West
Division-
Coast, hippie.
Get that joint out of your mouth.
All right, so the Atlantic Division is all set. Team captain for the Atlantic Division is Montreal's goalie, Carey Price. He would also be sharing the net with Tuukka Rask from Boston. Their roster fills out to Nikita Kucherov from Tampa, Brad Marchand from Boston, Austin Matthews from Toronto, Franz Nielsen from Detroit, Kyle Okposo from Buffalo, Vincent Trocheck from Florida, Victor Hedman from Tampa, Eric Carlson from Ottawa, Shea Weber from Montreal.
Wow, that's pretty stacked. That's going to be tough right there.
Oh, yeah. Metro Division's captain, the one, Sidney Crosby.
Yeah. Woohoo.
El Capitino.
He's going to be with fellow forwards Taylor Hall from New Jersey, Evgeny Malkin from Pittsburgh, Alex Ovechkin from Washington, Philadelphia Flyers, Wayne Simmons, the lone representative for the Flyers.
As it
Bullshit.
should be.
The Islanders,
As it should be.
Islanders captain Jonathan Tavares, Justin Falk from Carolina, Seth Jones from Columbus, Ryan McDonough from the Rangers. Goalies are Sergei Bobrovsky from Columbus and Braden Holtby from Washington.
That's where the Metro really has a distinct advantage, man. Bobrovsky, we just saw him on Sunday playing lights out. And then, Brandon Holtby's pretty good, too.
Agreed. That Braden Holtby guy, I heard of him.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's all right.
Bob
All right.
over Baghdad.
Moving
over
on.
here.
Moving on to the Central Division. We got PK Subban of the Nashville Predators captaining this team.
Although he won't be able to play in it.
He
though.
probably won't be able to
help,
play.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
All right, forwards for this team are Patrick Kane from Chicago, Patrick Laine, who probably won't be able to participate due to his concussion after that hit by Brian McCabe.
Oh, man.
Beautiful hit.
Yeah, it was a beautiful hit, man. He caught him with his head down. That's
Yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely.
Rookie
But
mistake.
It was a perfectly clean hit.
Yeah.
Perfectly
Yeah.
clean hit.
Yeah. I
My
agree.
boy, forward Nathan McKinnon from Colorado,
Yeah, he is your boy.
Tyler Sagan from Dallas, Vladimir Tarasenko from St. Louis, and Patrick Kane's partner, Jonathan Taves.
Twinkle toes.
Also
Maddie
on
likes to call him.
defense, is Chicago's Duncan Keith, PK Subban from Nashville, who is also their captain, which I noted earlier, and defenseman Ryan Sutter from Minnesota. Goaltending for the Central Division will be Corey Crawford and Devin Dubnyk from Minnesota and Chicago, respectively.
See that? Yeah, their weakness. I mean, because I'm always down on Corey Crawford. I get it, but it's not the playoffs, so I don't like him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Devin Dubnyk.
he's-
Dubnyk has been playing lights out all season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Minnesota.
So
he's
is
been great.
Darcy Crumpler. Darcy Crumpler's been playing well too.
Yeah.
All right, now to my division, the Pacific Division, being captained by the kid Connor McDavid from Edmonton. Joining him will be forwards Jeff Carter from the Kings, New Jersey's own Johnny Gaudreau in Calgary, Bo Horvat from Vancouver, Ryan Kessler from my Anaheim Mighty Ducks, Joe Pavelski from San Jose, Brent Burns from San Jose, Drew Doughty from LA, and Cam Fowler from Anaheim round out the defensemen. Goaltending will be Martin Jones from San Jose and Mike Smith from Arizona.
Nice.
So those are the All-Star teams.
Good differentiate. I mean, it's great. I love what they're doing with it, turning it into a tournament. It's almost like another skills competition, which that's the only thing I tune into normally is the skills competition.
Yeah, because the game's like 13-5 or 13-10.
Right.
Yeah, and there's
Nothing's
not really
been
much
more exciting than 3-on-3.
Right, and the cool thing about this is the winner gets $1 million, and the $1 million goes to the division's favorite charity.
That is special. Yeah. Absolutely, Brian. Well, thank you for mentioning that because that was something that I really took note of last year.
And they say that, most All-Star games aren't played for anything. I think the NHL All-Star game, despite the MLB playing for home field advantage in the World Series, the NHL actually plays for something.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Aren't they getting rid of that?
I hope. I don't know if they are. They should.
It was rumors.
There's rumors.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's any of it.
Has it made the All-Star game more competitive in baseball? No.
So, you don't think so?
Yeah.
Not at all.
No, I don't think so.
I think there's a little bit more strategy to it, but as far as competitiveness goes,
right, exactly. You think otherwise? You think it's been competitive?
No, I mean obviously the AL just dominates all the time.
Yeah.
The AL's got Mike Trout, so
yeah, I don't know about that, man. I could see the swing of power coming back to the National League, though.
What, you think Mike Trout's coming back? He's going to play in Philly?
No,
I think so.
No, that's not happening ever. First off, he's
not ever.
Ever.
Listen,
he's a Yankee. First off, if he's going anywhere that's not LA, it's New York, and it's not for the Mets because he's a diehard Yankees fan. So if he's playing anywhere, he's going to the Bronx.
A Yankees fan from South Jersey? Oh yeah, that's about.
That's about right.
That's about right. Yankees fan from South Jersey. Yeah, he's going to the Bronx.
I think Bryce Harper's going to be the one going to the Bronx.
I don't think so. I
don't think the Yankees really want that.
I strongly think that.
I think.
Hey, listen, we have a baseball segment next. So.
I'm calling a T right there, man. I need to. Not technical, but timeout right there. I do want to just say this quickly, though, moving back towards fantasy hockey purposes. Right now, especially if you're in weekly leagues, but even in daily leagues, you want to start making roster altercations, which you can really load up on games leading up to the All-Star break. If you can really load up on games, that's the difference between hockey and, say, other sports. You can really maximize on your points and, get into a prime position that you can continue to ride in the second half.
Agreed.
Absolutely. But it
will
be
a miracle in the second half.
Oh, dude, I'm 2-10.
I'm 3-8-1.
Never express weakness on the show. You're 10-2. They don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm undefeated.
That's right.
I don't play fantasy hockey.
Oh man, but neither of them. I mean, we will be on the air before the All-Star game, so we can look into more of that. But really quickly though, we'll go. Everybody have a pick. Who do you think will win the 3-on-3 tournament division-wise?
Pack division.
Metro. Come on.
I'm gonna go with wait. Are the Devils in the Metro?
Yeah.
Then the Metro.
Yeah. And that's where my man Wayne Simmons is too.
I know.
How did Claude Giroux not get? I'm sorry.
I told you because Wayne Simmons is better.
That has nothing to do with Wayne Simmons being better. I don't understand how Claude Giroux got snubbed.
Overrated.
He always gets snubbed. He gets snubbed on T. Canada. He gets snubbed on. He always gets snubbed. It's snub Giroux. Forget about fraud Giroux. It's snub Giroux. No. Yeah, no.
Ooh, I don't think fraud Drew. I like that. I'm gonna remember that one. I liked it.
It's been well documented. Come on now. But I'm gonna go with the Atlantic, and I know it's a little against my own division, but I mean when you read off the names in the Atlantic, man, I was really impressed. Like Carey Price.
They have the goaltending.
Yeah, they really
do.
I mean Metro too. They do, but I think hands down, just based on talent level, I'll go with that pick. I think the greatest pick of all, though, is BMW Atlantic City Dealership. They challenge its sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save. Right now, lease a certified pre-owned elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City. Easy to get 2 minutes off of exit 37 on the Garden State Parkway. Check them out online, BMWAtlanticCity.com. Wrapping up the show, we got baseball winter activity. Brian Daly, Mike Kleinkoff, Doug Pitchford, Rob Povia. We will see you right after this on Fantasy Dominance Now. Woohoo!
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real talk A2dradio.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2dradio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2dradio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com.
Welcome back to today's Fantasy Dominance Now, powered by Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountants. Give them a call, schedule an appointment, 215-369-3300. They're there for all your tax needs. April 15th is going to creep up faster than you think. Go see Gibson Mayer LLC. So, boys, one last thing to talk about, bringing it back to baseball as we're, roughly about a month away from, or a little over a month away from pitchers and catchers return.
Slightly over a month. I believe the report, at least for the Phillies anyway, is
It's February something.
February 13th, 12th, 13th.
Yeah, I
somewhere
thought
around
I thought officially it's like February 15th or something. Like
Something
the day,
like
it's like
that.
a couple days after Valentine's Day, or like a day.
there. Yeah, it's
after
around that
Valentine's.
area. I know that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's been a plethora of baseball winter activity that will affect lineups, keepers, your draft position heading into fantasy baseball next season. I mean, just to name a couple, you got Edwin Encarnación signed with the Cleveland Indians. Yoenis Cespedes signs back with the New York Mets, which was a huge surprise for me. But
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I
either.
didn't expect that. Justin Turner signed back with the Dodgers, as did according to this, Kenley Jansen's still a free agent at this point.
I thought he signed back.
Yeah, I thought he resigned.
Yeah,
with
this
the
isn't
Dodgers as
updated.
well.
I was just about to say that he signed with the Dodgers as well. Aroldis Chapman signed back with the New York Yankees.
After being traded, yeah.
Yeah, after being on loan. Dexter Fowler signs with the St. Louis Cardinals, which was interesting because Fowler was supposed to be an Oriole last year, made the choice to go to the Cubs, wins the World Series, and then goes chase the money with St. Louis. So,
he thought he was going to get paid last year as a free agent coming out with the Cubs. When he didn't get paid, it was like, all right, I'll go back to Baltimore or whatever. But then when he realized that he was going to be a platoon player in Baltimore, he went back to Chicago.
Yeah.
Screw that. I could start every day, and I could possibly win. Hell yeah.
I mean, he's a good ball player. He deserves to play every day.
I agree. Oh, I 100% agree. He's definitely an everyday player. There's a lot of guys here too. I mean, there's a lot of other like moves that were made, like vesting options and whatnot that were picked up. Jonathan Lucroy had his club option exercise to stay with Texas. Gio Gonzalez, same thing, option exercise to stay in Washington. Alcides Escobar, same thing, option exercise to stay in Kansas City. Jay Bruce, same thing, to stay with the Mets. Like, you got a lot of other moves too. I mean, bunch of trades. Evan Gattis also had his option exercise to stay in Houston.
Real quick, go ahead, Brian.
No, go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say, we're so polite here.
I know, right? Somebody just talk over somebody, damn it.
That's your job. A big signing for the Tampa Bay Rays, and I'm surprised they were the team to pull the trigger. Wilson Ramos, who had a great career year last year with the Nationals, has the type of injury where I knew he would be signed by an American League club. That way he could DH, kind of rest that bulky knee a little bit, hopefully not get kidnapped. But that's kind of fucked up. That was a terrible situation. But anyway, Wilson Ramos, I think that's a big signing for the Tampa Bay Rays. I see him doing big things, helping that club rebuild.
Oh, absolutely. And they also bring in Colby Rasmus.
Yep, they signed him.
Official today.
Yeah, they signed him today.
Fantasy purpose-wise, with Ramos, one last point I want to say is that by going to the American League makes him even more desirable catcher, because now you're talking – you'll probably see at least 140 games if you can mix and match them between catcher and DH. If not more, makes him much more of a desirable catcher to start day in and day out.
He's a desirable catcher regardless.
True.
Based off the season that he had last year before he got hurt.
Right.
So, I mean, the fact that you can actually use him now as a DH, I think just brings a little bit more value to him.
Oh, 100% agreed. DHs are hard to find, especially in leagues where you have a DH spot. DHs are very hard to find. There's a lot of interesting minor deals in other places. I mean, we all know about the Chris Sale deal, Sale getting traded to Boston. I mean, smaller deals like Danny Valencia getting traded to Seattle is one that comes to mind. It's that was like a lesser talked about trade.
Or you can even go smaller than that with Carlos Ruiz being traded to Seattle.
Right, yeah, you can go even smaller than that. You can also talk about Darnell Sweeney and what's his name getting traded to the Dodgers for Darren Ruff. Donald Sweeney for Howie Kendrick. Howie Kendrick getting traded for Darren Ruff and Donald Sweeney.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, I got a little confused there. I wrote it down really wonky, so it just didn't come out right. You also have another relatively minor trade, but I guess it's a big deal for Houston though, as they got Brian McCann.
Oh yeah,
from the Yankees.
About that deal.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting little deals that really are going to make teams better. I really like this deal though, for Tampa Bay, because they traded away Taylor Matter, who I think is overrated as a shortstop prospect, and they traded Richie Schaefer, who I think is hot garbage, and got 3 minor leaguers back from Seattle in the deal. Just young players needing a change of scenery and a new voice.
Seattle's going to be a team it's built to compete because they made 2 more deals as of I believe it was last week, in acquiring Yovani Gallardo for Seth Smith. And this trade I kind of liked for Seattle is also getting Gerard Dyson from the Kansas City Royals for Nathan Carnes. So I really like that deal for Seattle.
I do like that deal for Seattle too. They're definitely bolstering that rotation. I mean, they also made the deal sending to acquire Gene Segura for Ketel Marte and Taijuan Walker. That's another deal that most people aren't really talking too much about.
You guys talk about Mark Melanson?
San Francisco. He went to, where did he go?
He signed in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Howie Kendrick signed as a DH for Toronto, so he's the new Toronto Blue Jays designated hitter. There's a lot of different deals that went down that are really, and some of them, again, smaller deals, but very interesting with the players that moved. Again, the Taijuan Walker Ketel Marte deal was for Gene Segura, Mitch Haniger, and Zach Curtis, and a player to be named. So, like, again, not a great deal, but, like, a deal that that Seattle needed to make because let's be real, they needed a better offense out of the shortstop. They're going to get that with Segura. And then they just added all these other younger arms to replace Taijuan Walker, who was very disappointing.
Now, here's what I want to talk about. There's a lot of rumors going around Chris Archer, Carlos Gonzalez, Mark Trumbo, Brian Dozier.
Right.
Those are 4 big names that can affect fantasy baseball.
Don't forget about
Trumbo's a free agent who's not signed yet.
Right.
So
right.
That's what he's saying. And also Mike Napoli and Matt Wieters add to that.
I think you
I
guys
thought
are
Wieters
forgetting Andrew McCutchen, too.
Yeah, he is available. Andrew McCutchen is available via
Which
trade right now.
is ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
No, it's smart.
It's
smart. Like, he's old. At this point, he's old. He's he's starting to break down. You should have traded him.
old. He's like 28.
29.
Oh, God.
But still, though, he's
What's baseball prime?
Baseball prime is 27 to 33.
Okay, so he's in his prime right now.
Right, but he's
So why would you get rid of him? That's what the
because
guy's a
he's
franchise. Yeah, but he's a franchise guy.
yeah, but he's played like 100 games the last 2 years.
He's played more than that. Stop
120 games? Nah, not at all, bro. I'm about
His
to say, I'll
last 2
give you-
years?
Yes, I'm
He's
about to give
probably
you-
played
I'll give you-
120 games last season.
I'm with you, Mike. I don't know why they.
Dude, it's absolutely ridiculous. And
Yeah.
being a Pirates fan, it pisses me off.
Yeah.
It absolutely pisses me off. This is a guy that brought the team from being jack shit to being a playoff contending team.
No, bro, I completely agree with that. But what I'm saying is, like, he's done at this point in his career. I feel like it's
Why?
only
Because he
gonna
had
go
one
start
bad
going
season?
down. No,
He
yeah,
went from batting 320 to like 256 this season. So he's done.
no, it's not because of the stats. It's more because he
Are
went
you the
from,
Pirates GM? Because you'd be fired.
not at all, actually. And actually, to prove my point, each of the last 5 years since his career year of hitting 327, his batting average has decreased by at least 10 points every year. His on-base percentage has decreased.
It's still best on the team.
His on-base percentage has decreased every year except for one, which was 2 years ago.
I still want Kutch. I really don't give a shit. That's the thing.
Like, I'm not saying he's not a great player, but what I'm saying is, like, you're not going to be able to re-sign him, which is why you need to trade him. You can't pay him $100+
They don't pay
million.
anybody, though.
Exactly. So why let him walk for nothing?
Because that's the thing. That's why the Pirates organization is a shitty organization.
That's why, again, I said they should have traded him last year when he was coming off that huge year. Not last year,
But like
year
that's
before,
the thing, though. If they
they
keep these guys, then they could actually be a contending team. You know, they talk about getting rid of Garrett Cole. They're already talking about shipping out McCutchen. Like, build around them.
Right.
Give them the money. The Pirates are like one of the most up-and-coming teams, and fans are finally coming back into the stadium,
Right.
and they're shipping everybody out.
No,
Yeah, right.
no, you're not shipping everybody out. You're just
not
picking
signing-
and choosing what talent you need. Like you keep Polanco, you keep Garrett Cole, you let McCutchen
Yeah, so
go.
keep the best outfield in the game and keep one of the top 5 pitchers in the league.
But you got other prospects that
I
are really
understand
good
that.
that
Then
you can
bring 'em
plug
up.
in there.
But I'm just
have
saying,
to
you
get
got
rid
to
of-
keep. You got to keep that outfield.
At least, I mean, if you're gonna if you're gonna contend this year, yes, you keep the outfield. If
There's
you're
no
gonna-
reason to even bother trying. There really is no reason. They shipped out everybody.
Then
And Kutch is like the lone wolf.
that's what I'm saying. That's why you trade McCutchen now
here-
and you get
here's the
something else
thing.
for him.
Here's the thing. If you have somebody that's projected to be better than a position that you already have and you want to see what he can do, why not trade McCutchen and see what this kid can do? It's just a
It bothers
hypothetical
me. I mean,
situation.
listen, if you go out and get like a number 1 pitcher, fuck it. You
Right.
know, I'll take it. If
Well,
he's younger,
I'm glad you went that way, man, because Pirates have been linked to another sweepstakes in the American League, the Jose
Yeah.
Quintana
Yes.
sweepstakes or whatnot. They might want to start developing a strong rotation around guys like Garrett Cole, Tyler Glass now, and then also outfielder Austin Meadows.
Yeah.
That's not available for that deal. But if you could trade, like, say, Josh Bell, a Kevin Newman, couple, even a Cole Tucker. These are been guys that they're trying to offer to the rebuilding Chicago White Sox to get a Jose Quintana.
but that's the thing. If the Pirates do trade away McCutchen, they're going to have to move John Jaso to the outfield and probably move Marte from left to center.
Which makes you weak
And then-
defensively.
Yeah, but then you're going to bring in Josh Bell and put him as your first baseman.
Right.
So right there, I mean, I would say Josh Bell's out of the question.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're getting rid of Kutch, you can't put Josh Bell in there either.
Other teams that are interested in Quintana,
Agreed.
you got
you do have Austin Meadows.
I understand that.
I like Austin Meadows.
Which he hasn't. I don't even think he's seen any field yet, which is a shame with the injuries that do come in our outfield. But
Sure.
you know,
We got to develop him, man.
Yeah.
Maturate. We got the Houston Astros also interested in Jose Quintana's services. The New York Yankees, of course, they're always in there.
New York Mets
They're in
should
for
be.
everybody.
Yeah, the Mets should be. Rockies are actually talking in coots with Chicago White Sox. So what would it take to get a Jose Quintana? That's what I want to throw that question out to you, gentlemen, before we wrapped up.
I would say it would take a young power hitting outfielder, a guy with multiple tools, and probably a couple of prospects like pitchers or position players. I mean, Chicago needs pretty much everything.
Right.
They've got nothing. So like for them, they just need to kind of blow it up, and they just take whatever they can get. Not whatever they can get, but take as much of whatever they can get as they can.
Right.
I mean, I would probably take one MLB ready prospect, preferably like Doug just said, young power hitter, corner outfielder. And I would probably take 2 pitching prospects.
Yeah, I would definitely not take what Kansas City got for Wade Davis when they traded him to Chicago after the Aroldis Chapman signing. Because they traded they traded Wade Davis for Jorge Soler. Yeah, exactly. I was not a fan of that deal. I looked at that. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, all right, I'm sure prospects are in this deal as well. No,
they were
straight
straight
up.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? I'm like, what were you thinking? Like, I'm sorry, Jose. I mean, like, Jose Soler is a nice power hitter. He could hit 25 homers, 30 homers, but, like, the dude will hit, like, 180 and strike out, like, 300 times. I don't understand this deal at all. Like, it made no sense. I had, like, just like I have no legs, it made no sense.
Right.
Well, you said the Mets should be in on this sweepstakes. Who could they offer in a deal for Quintana?
Oh, they definitely should be in on this sweepstakes. I mean, there's a lot of different guys they can offer in this deal. They could actually, I wouldn't just go after Jose Quintana if I was the Mets. I would try to go for Jose Quintana and Jose Abreu and just kind of gut that team.
Ooh.
And in order to gut that team, you got to give up something. So I would be willing to part with either Harvey or Matz. Throw in 1 or 2 of the other pitching prospects we have, like a Gabriel Llano, or even one of the kids that we had last year that got us into the playoffs.
Gesselman or Lugo.
Yeah, Gesselman or Lugo. Throw in another couple position player prospects like what was the kid that came up and played third base for us at the end of the year?
Matt Reynolds?
Yes, like a Matt Reynolds, somebody like that. A couple position player prospects, and you're good to go.
Sure.
What do you do about Lucas Duda, though? Because Jose Uribe is
Jose
Abreu is their first baseman.
He's involved. He's going back. He's going
to be a part of the trade.
Yeah,
going
you
back
have
to
to.
Chicago.
You have to. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Have to.
Well, I mean, you could have the left hand, possibility, and Duda would be a bench player at that point, obviously.
Well, I mean, I think Duda is too good to be a little too good to be a bench player.
He's too inconsistent, man. He's really streaky. He's a streaky power hitter, and I get it. You gotta have him in the lineup in order to hit those streaks. But I don't know. I'd be willing to say bye, dude. I mean, I love him.
I mean, coming from a Phillies fan, I would agree. I would send Duda packing. Yeah. If you were to get somebody like Jose Abreu.
Oh, you got it.
Well, and for Chicago, it's a good deal too, because you're getting a ton of young pitching prospects. Right. You're getting a bunch of, like 2 or 3 prospects at least. You're getting a couple of major league ready pitchers. A couple major league ready players. Excuse me. One pitcher who you could throw right in the rotation right now and be your number one in like a Harvey or a Matz. He would be your best guy. And then you would get back a Lucas Duda where it's like, it's almost like a no-risk type of thing. You see what he's got, see if he actually can continue to develop into a quality upper-tier major league, quality starting major league first baseman. And if he does that, guess what? You can sign him extra cheap because he's coming into his free agency. He's not going to be that sought after as a player. So you can re-sign him on the low.
One quick injury update, too. I want to talk about Max Scherzer real quick before we wrap up. He will not pitch for Team USA in the WBC due to a stress fracture in his right ring finger knuckle. So that could, I certainly think he'll be ready for the season. But what that brings up is this WBC where the Team USA probably has by far the best lineup it's had. Now, this being the 4th installment. For pitchers-wise, you have Chris Archer, Michael Gibbons, Luke Gregerson, Andrew Miller, Marcus Stroman. Those are the only confirmed. Some more to be coming as we move on towards spring training. Positional players, Nolan Arenado, Brandon Crawford, Paul Goldschmidt, Eric Hosmer, Adam Jones, Ian Kinsler, Jonathan Lucroy, Andrew McCutchen, Daniel Murphy,
Murph.
Buster Posey. Yeah, it was good. It was good to hear him. He had it on. And Christian Yelich. So, will Team USA finally win a World Baseball Classic? That's my question, guys.
That lineup.
Win?
Hold on,
real quick. I got to see the other lineups before I can actually say will they win. But they definitely have a lineup to compete.
Right.
No, they can. They definitely
They'll
will
definitely
compete.
compete.
Oh, they'll definitely compete. But I mean, did they stop playing baseball in the Caribbean?
No.
I don't think so. So USA is not winning.
Right.
That's not happening.
Well, we'll have plenty of time as baseball approaches to go deeper in there. But really quick, we have the poll results. We asked you on Twitter, which divisional game do you stack in FanDuel or DraftKings in the NFL? With 60% of the vote, Packers at Cowboys wins the stacking battle. So good luck in your FanDuel, DraftKings leagues. Win lots of money. If you have any questions, tweet us with the hashtag AskFDN. But let me tell you, BMW of Atlantic City is the best bet in FanDuel or DraftKings. And they challenge its sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save. Right now, lease a certified pre-owned elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City, easy to get to. Minutes off exit 37 on the Garden State Parkway. Or check them out online, bmwatlanticcity.com. For Brian Daly, Mike Kleinkoff, Doug Pitchford, Matt Tsutsui on the ones and twos. I'm Rob Pobia. Keep it there, 2:30 p.m. Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2DRadio.com.
Peace.